Alright, we'll get you right here in front of the camera, miss. Alright, stand right here in front of the camera.
This is B. Kent with the Daily Algo. We seem to have the infamous Mr. Flex Carter here in our midst today as a part of this Chief of PD debate. Mr. Carter, is there anything you would like to say to the citizens of Algorithm?
I miss y'all.
You missed us. Can you please tell us how has your prison sentence been?
I'm in solitary confinement. How the fuck you think it's been?
I don't know. I was hoping you could share some insight with us.
I mean, I haven't really gotten to do much since I shanked the shit out of you.
Well, I'm glad to see that the police department is here to protect us and that you are in cuffs and that you will not be able to get away with anything today.
Yeah, I don't plan on getting away with anything, but I can't speak for the rest of the city.
Okay, well, you know what, Mr. Carter? I hope you sit here and you listen to these candidates as they try to get their points across, and I hope you are prepared to meet your next chief of PD who would have the unfortunate pleasure of dealing with yourself.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting show. I'm glad y'all brought me out to parade me around in front of everybody like some kind of political pawn.
Well, it was you who tweeted, not us.
It's true.
All right. Thank you for your time, Mr. Carter. Please enjoy the debate.
Yeah, I hope to see you later.
Alright, you can go ahead and take him back. Thanks, gentlemen.
What's up with the mask, man? Is that mandatory? Jeez.
Are you a
Still
lawyer?
worried about me eating somebody or something? I don't know.
Or like spitting on somebody, but yeah.
Alright, I need you to step back from him for me, please.
625 studio. Miss B is waiting on you.
Are you the lawyer for Mr. Carter?
I am the lawyer, but I'm here as a PR manager for Mr. Lewis, so I have no comment on my client.
Oh, unfortunate. Okay.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Algorithm, welcome to this crucial debate as we stand on the brink of electing the next chief of police for our beloved city. Tonight, we have two distinguished candidates vying for your support, Jimmy Kline and Kyle Lewis. In the spirit of transparency and community engagement, we've compiled 19 questions posed by you, the residents of Algorithm. 11 of these questions will be addressed by both candidates, while 8 are tailored to each contender's unique perspective. To ensure a focused and dynamic exchange, we kindly request that the candidates limit their responses to each question to no longer than 3 minutes. This will allow us to cover a breadth of topics within our allotted time frame. Let it be known that tonight's discourse is rooted in respect and constructive dialogue. We will not tolerate any form of toxicity, and any violators will be swiftly removed. Our goal is to provide you, the voters, with a clear understanding of the visions these candidates have for our city's law enforcement. In the spirit of clarity and optimal recording quality for later reference, we request that all attendees to enable push-to-talk capabilities on their phones. Once again, in the spirit of clarity and optimal recording quality for later reference, we request that all attendees to enable push-to-talk capabilities on their phones. This small effort ensures that every voice is heard distinctly and contributes to a transparent and thorough recording of this momentous event. So without further ado, let the debate begin, shaping the future of Algorithm safety and security through the insights and perspectives of our chief of police candidates. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to my left, we have Mr. Jimmy Kline. We have Mr. Jimmy Kline here representing the police in the Santa Claus hat and the black and blue t-shirt. And he is here with, and he is here with Mr. J. Miles, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you can have a seat, thank you. And over here we have Mr. Kyle Lewis in the blue pinstripe suit. And he is here with Mr. Mike Price and Mr. James Donald and Mr. Roscoe Pico, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, these are our candidates, and I will be asking the questions. The questions will be asked anonymously I will just be reading them out. We will start with the questions that we pose for both candidates. So I will be sitting here and I will be calling each candidate up to the podium and they will hear the question and give a chance to answer. Are you ready, Mr. Kline?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready, Mr. Lewis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we will start with Mr. Lewis. Can you please approach the podium? Okay, this is a question I'll be asking you, and then I will be calling up Mr. Kline for his response. First question. Yesterday, a tweet was sent out by the infamous Flex Carter stating, I've been granted a one-time phone use to let you know I'm still here and I have unfinished business. See you tomorrow, algorithm. And he is currently in attendance today. Any comments on the tweet sent yesterday and the presence of Mr. Carter today?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry, Mr.
It's fine. Yesterday, a tweet was sent out by the infamous Flex Carter stating, I've been granted a one-time phone use to let you know I'm still here and I have unfinished business. See you tomorrow, algorithm. And he is currently in attendance here today. Any comments on the tweet sent yesterday and the presence of Mr. Carter today?
How he was restricted to certain phone uses on his last court case. When he was put back into isolation, he was allowed, per the judge, I believe it was once every 2 months, to have a minimum uh, phone usage. So that could have been his time. I can look into that, but all that was handed over to the APD when I took the sheriff position. That was under their command there of dealing with a lot of his restrictions by the judge.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Kline, can you step towards the podium? Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I heard it.
Okay, your response, please.
Oh, so in regards to Mr. Carter, he was able to have his phone usage, which he was limited restriction on. Um, so we did go ahead and feel. I personally felt that it was key to have him here, because even though he is incarcerated, he still is a citizen of Algo, and he has not been convicted of any felonies as of yet. He still has the right to vote. Therefore, I had initiated my officers in the department to go ahead and safely escort him down here to the debate, and he is heavily guarded, so there's going to be no interference with him whatsoever while he's here. So, as far as his phone usage, good behavior within the prison, he is granted and issued some privileges. We do have to be moral with him while he's there. We can't be completely immoral with him due to the fact that he is innocent until proven guilty. So.
Okay, I would ask that you stand there as I would like to direct the second question to you since you're here.
Of course.
Okay, second question. What plans do you have for protection for those that feel more harassed than others who don't have the luxury of protection from a group of lawless individuals? Yes, a restraining order shouldn't be violated. However, there seems to be no fear for violating it, and thus filing one seems pointless. What promises can PD deliver to make the community feel better about the seriousness of violating a restraining order?
So I know a lack in the past of transparency with the department and with the civilians of Algo has been a big issue. So I definitely want to get that involved a lot more, with PD talking with victims of crimes and getting more involved with their safety outside of just putting people in jail. I'd like to get some type of system set up where we can check in with the victims, and also harsher punishments for those who violate those restraining orders and violate those orders from any judge. So at this point, we'll be looking into stricter and harsher punishments, to deter them from violating that order, and talking with the victims more and getting an advocate group together, um, to be able to communicate with the victims a lot more.
Okay, thank you. You can step down. Mr. Lewis, can you approach the podium? I see Ms. B has decided to join us today. Mr. Lewis, do you need me to repeat? Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. Just because I didn't hear the entirety.
Okay. What plans do you have for protection for those that feel more harassed than others who don't have the luxury of protection from a group of lawless individuals? Yes, a restraining order shouldn't be violated. However, there seems to be no fear for violating it, and thus, filing one seems pointless. What promises can PD deliver to make the community feel better about the seriousness of violating a restraining order?
Well, definitely what we can do is our reporting processes definitely a lot better in collecting information. Um, when I was at the PD under Commissioner Price, we did have somewhat of a harassment scenario going or report come in, and just information kind of got lost in the shuffle. So will the due process needs to be done step by step, and reporting process needs to definitely be done a lot different. Maybe getting something together with the hospital on any kind of uh, examinations to the victims.
Okay, thank you. I will ask that you remain there as I move into the third question. The quote unquote anybody high command and above has to give up their criminal characters rule. Will that be coming back with your leadership? And if so, why should other people be punished because of others who can't cross contaminate and separate their characters?
Okay, so right now in our SOP, it does state that high command is not allowed to have it. That was put in without the clause being put in black and white. That was put in due to the high command members that we had, which were a part of the investigation unit. So there's always been a clause. It was not in black and white, and that is on me for it not being in black and white and being a part of the SOP. But depending on what your division is, the officer you are, your dedication, your activity, your duties in protecting the citizens algorithm, you're able to have that high command member being able to run a moto unit, a K9 unit, a Marine unit. You just will not be able to be a part of any investigative issues just due to the information that's at hand, right? So as high command, we get privy information that officers aren't going to see, sergeants aren't going to see, even lieutenants aren't going to see. So it's just information that better protects the citizens of algorithm, and how we go about our day, I guess, is the better way to put it.
Okay, thank you.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
yes, it will come back, but that clause will be in black and white, so it is clarified for everybody that just because you go into high command, it's not gonna necessarily um, affect your family member. It all depends on what you're doing as high command.
Okay, thank you so much. You can step down. Mr. Kline, can you please approach?
You guys all on shout?
Yes, please make sure you're on shout.
If you're not on shout,
Right.
get on shout. They can't hear you in the back.
Yep. All right.
Okay. I will repeat the question for you. The anybody high command and above has to give up their, excuse my wording earlier, family members rule. Will that be coming back with your leadership? And if so, why should other people be punished because of others who can't cross contaminate and separate their characters?
Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know what this cross contamination is. Whether or not I have a family member that is involved in criminal activity has nothing to do with me. I don't associate with family members that have any type of criminal activity just due to the position I'm in. So whatever the question about cross contamination is. I have no idea what that is. But in regards to my family having some type of criminal activity, I don't associate with them, so therefore there would be no worry for me to release any information to that family member whatsoever. Um, regardless of the position that I personally hold, what my family members do doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. It's what they do. I live on my own. I don't live with them. I don't associate with them or communicate with them in any way. So, as far as whatever the question is about cross contamination, I'm not sure how to really answer that. But just know that I don't associate with my family members that have been involved with criminal activity, so I don't see the issue.
Okay, so maybe to clarify it a little more, if you have other employees who have family members who may be caught up on the wrong side of the law, will they be allowed to keep in contact with?
Negative. They will not be allowed to keep in contact with family members that are involved in criminal activity as long as you wear the badge. If their family members want to do what they want to do on their time, that's completely up to them. But as far as myself or them, they won't be able to associate or communicate with them uh, about anything that has to do with the department.
Okay, I will ask that you remain there as we move into question number 4. With with SOPs, senior officers and above should be able to give certifications. What is stopping those ranks to be able to give those certifications for like heat, moto, etc.? Right now, it's corporal and higher. Senior officers mean that they are experienced, so they should be able to give certifications.
Me personally, I would agree with the way it is now. So as you're coming through the ranks, you're going to start out as a cadet. You'll learn your basic knowledge to be able to patrol out on your own, and you'll become an officer. And once you move to a senior deputy, you're still not quite in a supervisor role yet. You're still learning a little bit more details about your position. But once you become a corporal, you're a little bit more advanced in that department. I think it should still remain the same um, with certifications. But the issue we were having in the past is we were they were putting people in those positions that weren't responsible enough to be able to keep up with the proper paperwork and the documentation and get officers certified that wanted to be certified or were privy to being able to be certified at that level. So that's going to be something we're going to definitely change if I'm elected. We will definitely be having more certifications, more subdivisions, um, more responsible people in those positions to be able to handle that kind of stuff.
All right, thank you, Mr. Klein. You may have a seat. Mr. Lewis, can you please approach the podium? I will repeat the question for you. With
It's okay, Miss Kent. You don't have to. All right.
Okay.
So the reason why that's set up right is it's mainly a lot to do with greener people coming into law enforcement. Like Klein said, you go into your officer, and then your senior officer starts to let your command see what kind of leadership skills you have, what kind of more in detailed reporting skills that you have. So that senior deputy allows, and it also allows us to see if you're going to be a good FTO and be able to teach other cops to be proficient in their job. So one thing we have to worry about, right, is taxes. So the big thing is we're actually going to be working on everybody's dollar in the future. So it's being more sufficient in that, and they're able to show what they're able to do, and at that point they move up to corporal. As he said, they're able to now become a FTO if they show that, or start going into their division. Now, as a senior deputy or a senior officer, I apologize. If they're not going to be FTO quality, they're able to work on their division that they plan to go on to, whether it be heat, they're able to go out with a heat unit and practice, go out to the course, same thing with air one, etc. That's why that's in place.
Okay, please stay right there as we move into question number 5. This was asked before at the meet and greets, however, there's a second part to it now. The first half was, how can you describe your leadership style? And the second half is, how does it align with effective law enforcement management?
Um, all right. So as I said, right. So I kind of go with a little bit more sterner approach to leadership, but I also have people in place with me that counteract and can adjust to my leadership as well. What was the second part, Miss Camp? Sorry.
The second half was, how does that leadership style align with effective law enforcement management?
So it ensures that we're protecting the citizens of algorithm the correct way. We're not just jumping out of cars and digging in their pockets without having cause and infringing on their rights. Look, I've been doing this a long time. I've survived 3 commissioners, and I'm still standing here every day protecting the citizens of algorithm. That's been my goal. It'll continue to be my goal, whether I'm elected or not. So,
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. You may step down. Mr. Kline, can you please approach the podium? Okay, same question for you. How can you describe your leadership style and how does it align with effective law enforcement management? Mr. Kline, can you hear me? Speak up, please.
All right. So my biggest thing is transparency and trust with the citizens of Algo. If we could get out there and talk with these guys and build that rapport and that relationship with the community, it's gonna make traffic stops a little easier. When you have an officer come up to your vehicle that you know isn't going to be on any shady stuff, isn't going to try to do anything manipulative to you, isn't going to try to hem you up, it's going to make traffic stops go a lot easier. And as far as leadership within a department, we have to make this something that is structured but yet fun. We have to have these guys enjoy coming to work. We have to have these guys enjoy coming on duty for their shift and enjoy working with one another and enjoy working with the public. It's not something that is going to be you know, do your job, do it this way or else. We need to have fun with it. We need to enjoy it. And we need to enjoy it with the citizens of Algorithm. That's just how it has to be. If it's not fun, you're not going to have people that are going to want to come to work. So,
All right, thank you. Please stay right there as we move into question number 6. How would you engage with community members and build trust between the police department and the community?
so my biggest thing is I want to do events, whether it be, car washes for local small businesses. If, we can get some officers out there to do some car washes off duty. Um, whether it be raise, get a small business like the towing company or, some of these burger shots or, any of these small businesses that, um, could use the help and benefit from the help. Not only does that show that the police department cares about these small businesses, but it also shows that we want to get out in the community and have conversations with people and talk with people and get to know our community members, and not just arrest them or write them tickets or take them to jail or put them in prison. It gives us all a very wide, vast chance to communicate, talk, get to know each other, and at the end of the day, if we could get events like this, we can raise money for these small businesses to make them strive and help them grow in so many ways. So that's going to be something that's going to be key. that I'm definitely going to push for in the future.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kline. You may have a seat. Mr. Lewis, can you approach the podium, please? Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
How would you engage with community members and build trust between the police department and the community?
I mean, I think the same way we've really been doing it. We try and talk to everybody, make relations. We're at events. We try to do community policing as much as we can. We really should do some more, but really just continue to do what we've been doing the entire time, and operating with integrity and respect, and treating the civilians that way. We're not out to hem anybody up, but if you break the law, and unfortunately it is what it is.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Stay right there for the next question, please. How do you approach the issue of use of force, and what steps you can take for officers to use de-escalation techniques?
Oh, yeah, definitely moving forward. There's going to be a lot of work on that. So that was kind of one of our biggest battles. And that's officers going to their firearms first. That really should be the last thing they go for. We have a lot of other things on our duty belt. In the future, we're going to have a lot more non-lethal we'll be able to use. So we'll definitely be able to adjust and make sure citizens are approached the right way in that use of force continuum.
All right, thank you. You may step down. Mr. Kline, can you please approach the podium? All right, do you need me to repeat the question, Mr. Kline?
Yeah, just one more time, please.
How do you approach the issue of use of force, and what steps can you take for officers to use de-escalation techniques?
So I'm definitely going to look into some definitely more retraining options, especially on the use of force curriculum and the pyramid for use of force. Um, yeah, I know it's been an issue in the past, that Mr. Lewis stated that officers shouldn't be going for their guns. They shouldn't be automatically going towards lethal. The other thing too is looking into limiting firepower for newer, greener officers that um, aren't really 100% or very privy to the force use of force pyramid. Um, so that's going to be a thing too that I'd implement. We'll go with officers using their less lethal, or we have pepper spray being worked on with a company to get a good chemical agent going for that. So that's going to be something we're definitely going to implement, to where class twos are going to be used for a little more experienced officers rather than giving somebody who's brand new to the street a class two. So that's something I'm definitely going to push for, and change within a department, and constant monthly, brief trainings on use of force, and how it's best to use your mouth with words and not use your finger for guns. So,
All right, thank you so much. You could stay right there. The next question, question number 8. How would you assure accountability in the PD department, particularly in cases of misconduct and other violations?
so as I stated yesterday, I'm big on transparency. So updating the media, holding the officers accountable for their actions, holding the civilians accountable for their actions. If officers are doing something they're not supposed to be doing, you bet your butt I'm going to make sure that they get held accountable, and have repercussions for their actions. But it's big on transparency. I want to be transparent with you, the media. Do weekly updates with the media on criminal activities or any issues that have been going on within the department, highlighting the good, the bad, the ugly within the department, being very transparent, so that way it can get out to the citizens of Algo and they know what's going on. So that's going to be one of my focuses as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kline. You may step down. Mr. Lewis, can you please approach the podium? Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, ma'am. So once again, I'll continue to do what I did as sheriff and what I did under the previous commissioners, and the officers will be held accountable like they have been every time. And they'll either carry their strikes, their necessary punishments within the department, and then other punishments if need be, and termination. So.
All right, thank you. You can stay right there for question number 9, which is, I guess, a follow up for question number 8. How do you balance the need for accountability while supporting your officers, particularly in high stress situations?
It's definitely evaluating the situation at whole. So, there's 3 sides to every story. There's 2 lies and the truth, right? So, it's your due diligence before you can either go after your officer or whether it be the civilian. It's your due diligence to gather the correct information to lead you to the proper conclusion on whether it be your disciplinary action, any civil actions that may be against the department or the officer itself.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. You may step down. Do you need me to repeat the question, Mr. Kline?
Yeah, please.
How do you balance the need for accountability while supporting your officers, particularly in high stress situations?
Well, at the end of the day, what's happened in the past hasn't worked. Obviously, there's a need for change. This city has gone through many commissioners, many chiefs over a short period of time. So things need to change, and by change I mean I will support my officers if they're in the right, and if they're in the wrong, you best believe we're going to address it, and we're going to try to change it. Whether that be put in policies and procedures to get things on the right track. Um, Whatever we need to balance that out. And being chief is a tough task, but you know what? I feel I can handle it. I know I can handle it, and that's just something we're going to have to work through.
All right, thank you. Please stay right there for question 10 out of 11. In instances where officers have been found to have violated departmental policies, what actions will you take to maintain public trust and to uphold the integrity of the police force?
So again, that all falls back onto the transparency. If officers aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and are violating policies and procedures, it ties into a little bit about what Mr. Lewis said with wearing strikes and demotions within the department, or termination, depending on the severity. So, and that will be portrayed through you guys within the citizens of Algo, so they are up to date on what's going on. If an officer gets caught selling guns to citizens on the street, we're gonna make it known that this officer was observed, and what his punishments were. So then that way the citizens of Algo know that we are holding our officers accountable for their wrongdoing, and it's not just the citizens of Algo. I think that punishment should be a little harsher for the for the officers. Excuse me. Just due to the fact that they do wear a badge and they do have the authority of the law, and so that would be something that I would push for too, is a little bit more severity on the punishments, which will also deter future officers from violating stuff, from doing stuff they shouldn't be.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kline. You may step down. Mr. Lewis, can you please approach? All right, the same question 10 for you. Do you need me to repeat it?
Yeah, please.
In instances where officers have been found to have violated departmental policies, what actions will you take to maintain public trust and to uphold the integrity of the police force?
Continue to hold them accountable, whatever their disciplinary actions may be, or criminal charges if necessary.
Okay, thank you so much. And final question, for both candidates. Please stay there, Mr. Lewis. What new, never before initiatives can you confidently say you will bring to the PD department and the city of Algorithm that has not been done thus far? What definitive changes will you implement if you win on Sunday?
Well, so that's kind of a tricky question because there's some things that I don't know. So what I can tell you is a lot of the SOP will be rewrote. A lot of policies will be rewrote. There is going to be a completely different change. So here's the thing. I've always had somebody over me. I've never had the final call about what goes into a SOP or what gets implemented. It's always been somebody above me. So it will definitely be big changes coming. There'll be things there for the officers to encourage them to continue to do their job good and excel.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. You may step down. Mr. Kline, can you please approach the podium? Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah, that's fine.
What new, never before initiatives can you confidently say you will bring to the PD department and city of Algorithm that has not been done thus far? What definitive changes will you implement if you win on Sunday?
Oh, well, so we're going to completely restructure the entire thing. I feel that what has happened and been done in the past hasn't worked. Obviously, with things that have gone on in the past few months, that what's working, what was in place wasn't working. So as far as some initiatives for the officers, I will be implementing an officer of the week. So the officer that does the best job with his reports, does the most hours on duty, that comes in, does their jobs, that helps out, gets the FTO pages done. That'll be another thing I'll be implementing. I'm also going to be implementing an SRU unit, which is going to have officers be able to go through certifications and trainings for that and be an on-call, essentially a SWAT unit, for hostage negotiation situations, for potential bank robberies, different heists that go on. So it'll be an initiative for them. Along with that, it'll tie into our moto unit. That'll tie into our heat unit, our air one unit. I will also be working with the people that need to be able to get maybe a Marine unit going and a K9 unit going. I'm talking with the powers that be that maybe we can get something worked out there to give these officers more to do. And with having different units like this is going to allow us to be able to do more stuff with the public. So it's going to make officers want to be here, want to be on duty. I'm also would also plan on looking at getting a potential in the future a bike patrol. I think that'd be kind of cool to get like a foot patrol for officers to be able to walk up and down the street, communicate with the public, talk with people, and also police on their feet. I think that's going to be something that's going to be really cool to add to the police department as well. So there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be implemented, that I will work on, and try to give these officers the best time they can while they're on duty and have fun. At the end of the day, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, who wants to do it?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kline. I will ask that you remain at the podium. We have asked all 11 questions of both candidates, and now we have 4 questions for you, Mr. Kline, and then we will ask Mr. Lewis 4 questions specifically directed at him. Are you ready, Mr. Kline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here's your first anonymous question specifically for you. It's been mentioned that you have a difficult time with your grammar and sentence structure when trying to articulate yourself with posts within the department. How do you expect for the department to be taken seriously for future PD prospects that are new to the city if its leader can't convey their directions in a professional manner? The people are concerned about SOPs, being written in crayon. How do we trust someone with no track record and a difficulty providing clear and concise direction to get this department where it needs to be? Furthermore, do you believe that a seasoned law enforcement veteran would see how you conduct yourself as chief and be willing to follow your leadership, or are you maybe out of your depth here? If you need me to repeat that because it was a lot, I will.
No, you're good. Listen. At the end of the day, I know I have a hard time spelling, and my grammar just sucks. Yeah, I don't argue that. It really does. But there's this one thing in this department that is key to helping me with that, and that's called teamwork. You build a team together and around you that is willing to help you with that. The officers that I plan on putting in place to help me, I know will help me with my grammar and help me with my spelling. But at the end of the day, what's wrote down on paper is one thing. Yeah, it's important for people to read, but that's why you have a team around you to work with you and to help you. But uh, I portray myself in front of you, person to person. I'm not going to communicate with these officers um, a lot in writing stuff down or sending, memos or emails. I'm going to come talk to these officers face to face. I'm going to come talk to the civilians face to face. Have a conversation like a human being should. So that's going to be something too that is going to be difficult. But like I said, I built a team and around me, and that team around me allows me to work on that and make some changes in that regard. And that's my plan.
Phenomenal response, Mr. Kline. I am impressed. Question number 2. I do have to go to the video footage here. Give me a second. Well, the question is one of the citizens of Algorithm released this video footage of what seems to be interesting PD activity in your presence. Please explain your side of the story after the video is done. You all can tune into the TVs around you. There's one right here in front.
I'd like to place a report on this EMS here. He tried to get this child into the back of his ambulance.
Sir, he was looking for help.
This one?
What the fuck is wrong with these cops? Like teddy bears, but don't worry about him. But anyways, my job.
What up?
What's your name?
What?
He fell. He needs help.
Officer. He kind of scared me because he knew my name. Stop.
This area is very toxic.
Okay. All right.
Good day, officer. These cops are terrible. They don't even see crimes happening in front of them.
Okay, Mr. Kline, do you need to see the video again?
No. I haven't seen the video.
Okay, please explain your side of the story, please.
So, at that point in time, it was late in the evening. People were really tired, getting ready to go to bed. And it was just a time where we were all laughing and joking and having a good time. I just think it's really funny that, they take something that is laughing and joking and having a good time and turned it into something really serious. But I will say this, going forward, there will be absolutely none of that. When it is time to be on duty, we will make sure that all the officers going forward will, you know, be cordial and be vigilant and do their job to the T. And there won't be any of the, horsing around or messing around in that manner whatsoever. I realized that it was a mistake and thought that it was something that was completely harmless. And with that, I apologize. It was my fault. I should have done better and been more responsible. So I do take responsibility for my actions there. I should have been more responsible when it came to the public and it came to the people around me. So I screwed up. One thing about me is I am a human being and I do make mistakes. And taking accountability for my actions is something that I have no problem doing. um, and just keeping a good composure and changing it to make it better. So that's my plan there is to change things and make things better. Um, and also I'd like to point out too that at that point in time, that was something that with the old PD was okay to do stuff and horse around and goof around and play around in that manner. With new leadership and new change, like I just said, we'll be changing that. That won't be allowed anymore, and that won't be something that we'll have to worry about addressing again because it won't happen.
All right, thank you so much for your explanation. We have two more questions. Please give me time to get the second video up, please. If you all can direct your attention to the TV screens. Oh, actually, let me come over here. Can you please explain your reasoning behind this photo? Why did you label the EMS director and EMS paramedics and off-duty cops as quote-unquote felons?
So in that particular picture, nobody in there is labeled. There's just pictures on top of pictures. They don't have specific names to the person. The just multiple signs of felons. They aren't represent or necessarily representing one single person or two single people. Um, so with that being said, there is a felon in there. Who was confirmed stated on one of the news outlets that he was a felon and is now a holy man and a pastor, but is still a felon. Doesn't necessarily reference one single person or each individual person. It just constantly says felon, 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 and it's just placed on the thing. It's not that it's representing a certain individual. There's no names directly underneath the word felon. There's no arrows pointing to anybody. None of that. So there is a felon in that photo. I'm not going to release his name or anything like that, but it's not insinuating that one person is a felon, or two people, or four people, or everybody in that photo is a felon. That's not referencing to that.
Too.
Um, Having one person in there that is a felon and having multiple pictures of the word felon on there is perfectly fine.
So would you say that this picture was done in jest?
Yes,
as a joke?
There is one felon in there. Like I said, I'm not going to release his name, but they can look at the news outlet. He went ahead and rightly admitted that he had a past. So the photo isn't entirely inaccurate. Like I said, there is one person that is a felon in there, and that one felon could reference every single one of those single little individual felon photos.
Okay, I will set up the final video for the last question, and then you will step down, and Mr. Lewis will come up for his questions. Please give me a second. This is B. Kent with the Daily Algo with a breaking news exclusive. We are here with Mr. Pico, PR coordinator for Mr. Kyle Lewis, with a response for an accusation made fairly recently by the opposing party. Mr. Pico, what would you like to say to the people about the accusation against you?
Well, I'd like to point out at first, one of the officers is an off-duty officer, Mr. Bean. Second off, the cameraman behind you was also labeled as a felon. His name is Richie Williams. He works with Weasel News. Third, this lovely lady, one of my best paramedics, Prue Winchester,
Very lovely.
is one of the best EMS I've had to work with. Also myself, I was accused of being a felon. I am a director of EMS. I am also a lawyer, so we won't talk about slander right now, but anyways. And I'm also a PR coordinator for the next Chief of Police, Mr. Kyle Lewis. So I just wanted to clear up all those allegations and move forward. Now, the limo driver, we should probably have a talk with him. That is up to you now.
Is the limo driver present?
The limo driver is around. Let me get my guys. Can someone bring the limo driver up? Miss Kent has a couple questions for him. Oh, he's on his way. But once again, all those allegations were false. No one here is affiliated with any gangs. Well, once again, we're thinking we'll talk to the limo driver. We'll see.
Okay, no problem. That was not the whole video, but due to time constraints, the question was simply, please provide a response to the video explaining. They just wanted a response from you about the whole video, and then we'll let you go.
I don't know what else was left in the video. I mean, everybody, listen, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick individual personnel. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick individual citizens of Algo. How a picture is interpreted is completely and utterly up to them. How they want to see what a picture looks like, if they want to twist it and turn it and manipulate it into what they want to manipulate it into. That's entirely up to them, and I have nothing but respect for them for that, and that is their right. That's their God-given right. Just like freedom of speech is they're also their God-given right. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about a photo. I'm not worried about what is said and what isn't said. What I'm worried about is the citizens of Algorithm, how they portray us as a police department, how in the past it has been portrayed as essentially a joke, that nothing is done correctly, nothing is done appropriately, um, that officers don't do their job right. So at the end of the day, it's time for change, and that is what is my focus is going to be on. Is changing the department and making the citizens of Algorithm as happy as I possibly can. And not only that, but my officers. Make my officers happy, make them enjoy their job, and enjoy this wonderful and amazing city.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kline. You may step down. Mr. Lewis, can you please approach the podium? Okay, final 4 questions for you. The very first question is, why did you step down from sheriff? To have some clarity would be nice.
Yeah, I'm glad we're gonna get this out of the way because honestly, I knew this one was coming. All right, so the reason why I stepped down was simply because, as I stated earlier, okay, so since I have been hired in this city at birth, there's always been somebody above me. I've never had the final say so on anything. There was when Miles stepped out of the police department completely, and Price and I were put into place. We completely restructured everything. We started completely over. And we built it up enough to where we were able to open another department. So we opened that department, the sheriff's department. Powers to be brung somebody in who was the chief and is the active chief. So there was a video that an interview that came out yesterday that says that I am the current chief. I am not the current chief of APD. I haven't been a member of APD since I was appointed sheriff. And when I went to sheriff, the chief took over APD. So a lot of this that you're hearing from him of how things were ran and all that is from the current chief that is at stand. And I didn't like how some things were going. I didn't like some things that were being said. Also, there were some false accusations that were made against me, which were proven completely false. And at that point, myself and the powers to be had a conversation to let the people that were in place of APD show what they have, new place, new face kind of thing. And we see where that led us. We're here. So that's why I stepped down, and I went to an officer. I didn't leave. law enforcement. I didn't quit. I didn't walk away. I went to an officer, and that's the position that I hold in the PD to date, is an officer. And I was on duty 2 hours after I stepped down, and I've been on duty every day since. The protection of the civilians of algorithm is my goal. I have no family members in the city. I moved here alone, and I'll die here alone. So that's where we're at. And in that conversation, it could have been a betterment or the case that we have now. So that's why I stepped down, was to allow other people to try and do something and move forward, and that's not what happened. So
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Kline, also, if you do need to go, there are no more questions directed towards you, so feel free to leave at any time. There's only 3 more questions left, though. Okay, question number 2. You're welcome. Question number 2 for Mr. Lewis. The community would like to know what your plan is to not only bring, but keep cops in the city. We've been plagued with a fight or flight in the city, and it's been brought to our attention that you're maybe more flight than fight. We need a leader we can count on to be here for us, even when others choose flight. We want someone to always be there to protect us no matter what. What can you say to convince us that you're that leader?
So with all due respect to that, like I honestly laugh at the fact of fight or flight. Because that's not the case. And in the case that it is, it's calling the kettle black, right? Because every civilian is guilty of it. So yes, have I got pissed off and and went and took a break? Absolutely. Everybody has. Not one officer that's ever walked through the door of this city has stayed on duty after getting pissed off after dealing with civilians. Not one. Not the one that's running against me. He has done the same thing. Look, we're all guilty of it, and that's something that we all need to better ourselves on, including me. And I have done that. So look, there's a lot of things. Okay, I speak a certain way, and unfortunately I do apologize to a lot of people about that. All right, but it just it just kind of is what it is. But
Any more, or is that it?
I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of trying to regain my thought here.
Okay, let me know when you're ready for question 3.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to question 3. We can revert back to that if you want to.
Okay, no, we can move forward. Question number 3. In situations where members of the community express concerns about officers displaying anger or aggression, how would you address those concerns and work to rebuild community trust?
So one, I'd look at the situation in entirety, and then I would get with the officer. I think one issue that we can all work on is kind of being, as Klein says, more transparent, but that's with everybody. So dealing with that officer and then trying to come to a reasonable solution between the two parties at the end of the day.
Okay, and final question. Can you provide an example where yourself or an officer displayed poor anger management skills, and how did you handle the aftermath to prevent reoccurrence?
So early in my days as a cop here, exactly what we just talked about, getting mad and flying out. Instead of doing that, if I have citizens that irritate me, or get me to a point that I shouldn't represent, I go 10-6, which is I take a break. And I go smoke a cigarette and breathe a little bit. So as far as the getting mad and leaving aspect, I've curbed it by going and sitting in my car somewhere, and smoking a cigarette or going and doing some yoga over in the gym or something. 100%. I think that's bad on everybody. I'm 100% guilty of it. I'm 100% guilty of sometimes out when I shouldn't, and I take accountability for all my actions, and I have since day one of being in this city. And at the end of the day, like I said, my main goal has been the protection of the citizens in this state, and that will continue to be my goal.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Lewis. Okay, I did say we'll be here for about an hour, folks, and it's been about an hour. All right, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this pivotal debate to a close, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to both candidates, Jimmy Kline and Kyle Lewis, for dedicating their time and passion to share their visions for the future of algorithms law enforcement. We want to express our sincere appreciation to the anonymous citizens who submitted their important questions and concerns, shaping tonight's dialogue and providing us with invaluable insights into the issues that matter most to our community. To our audience at home, thank you for tuning in and actively participating in this democratic process. Your engagement is crucial as we collectively chart the course for the safety and security of algorithm. As a reminder, in-city voting will commence immediately following this debate. Each family is entitled to one vote, and no other cousins will be allowed to cast additional votes. Rest assured, all votes will be documented securely, and on Sunday around 11 p.m. EST, the Daily Algo will release a breaking newsletter and/or broadcast announcing the winner of this Chief of Police election. Your vote is your voice. Let it resonate as we move forward together in Algorithm's future. Thank you and good night. Thank you all for coming. If anybody wants to get a algorithm interview, I'll be off to the side. Feel free to say hi to people at home. Make any comments. I'll be here waiting. Is Serenity still here?
I have no idea.
Serenity?
Serenity left.
She left?
Safely, yeah.
Dang, I wanted to talk to her. Okay.
We had a little incident where he might have went after too close.
Did he do anything to her?
He went up.
Yeah.
What did he?
The cop stopped it.
You got a spider.
Okay. Mr. Beagle, do you want to interview?
You want to talk to Flex Carter?
Is Mr. Carter available for a few words?
Oh, I'm always available for you, kneecaps.
Mr. Carter, how do you feel about tonight's election?
I feel like I was more focused on who's gonna get me out of this fucking solitary cell and back on these streets where I belong. I don't care which one of these dickheads is the police chief.
Box him in.
You got an innocent man behind bars.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty. So what am I doing sitting in this cell rotting away? That's what I want to know.
Is there a candidate you favor more than the other?
Aren't you waiting for a trial, Flex?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a trial. I should have been.
If you would have pled guilty, then you could have served your time by now and gotten out, right?
Sir, if you
I should.
you will be out.
I should have been out on these streets until my trial.
Well, obviously they didn't feel that way, did they?
Yeah,
Could you afford the bond? No.
Man, come on.
Is there a candidate you feel more inclined to, Mr. Carter?
Nah, it don't matter to me. They're both dickheads.
Well, strong words from Mr. Carter, folks. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Free me.
Free Flex Carter.
I need
I'm walking
over
away.
here and box him in with officers.
Please do.
Too many people over here.
Absolutely.
That's right. Best lawyer in the city. I get him what he wants. There he goes. Free Flex.
How did he really just run out of here?
He did. I mean, he is under Kline's. Never mind.
I think
Breaking news, it seems that shots have been fired. This is B. Kent with the Daily Algo. I guess we're wrapping it up here. Thank you. This never fails.
See, under the current protection done by Kline, Flex Carter just got away. I'm just saying.
I just want to put that two suspects were down.
2 suspects are down outside.
Look, I just wanna point out, you know, that during Flex's court cases, I managed to get him back to the prison twice.
That's pretty impressive.
The man that is claiming to be your next chief can't even get him to and from.
Strong ending words from Mr. Lewis.
I'm your PR manager.
Yes, sir. What is your name?
I gotta go back in the lounge before I get yelled at.
What is your name, sir?
We should put Mr. Roscoe Pico under investigation.
Why should we put Mr. Roscoe Pico under investigation?
He's gonna be the coordinator for the PR for Mr. Lewis.
Hey, sir.
Is this true, Mr. Pico?
See if I can find that clip of you admitting to things on camera up there at the jail.
Oh, not to mention he knows way too much and he's a snitch. So he should definitely.
Mr. Pico, strong.
Sir.
Mr. Pico, strong allegations. Are you indeed a snitch?
I do whatever's good for the community. I am a director and I am a lawyer. I want to see this community rise to the top. Just like me, Roscoe Pico.
So I got a question, Mr. Pico. If you're at the top of the board and you're involved with other high chairman people, how do we know that you're not corrupt?
Good question.
Good point.
If nobody's supervising you, you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure you can check my record.
Do you want to say something, sir?
Pretty clean.
Same thing goes with Mr. Lewis. I mean, he was involved in a felon in the photo, which is factual.
According to Mr. Kline, that was just labels on top of a picture.
Yeah, he's a reformed chaplain. I mean,
did he not
like
know
Lewis,
that there was one felon in there?
No, I did the background checks. That is my fault. That's not Mr. Lewis's
Oh, I
fault.
see.
I clearly said on the video, on news, that I did the background check on that shady limo driver.
So you threw him under the bus.
That guy admitted to a smear campaign. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Pico, did you throw him under the bus?
I threw someone under the bus, but it wasn't my client.
So you're playing dirty in politics, I see.
Very dirty politics. Welcome to Algorithm, sir. You
So
want to
this
run
is
for mayor?
this is the type of guy that we're dealing with under Lewis's arm.
I'm not. No.
I don't know if I want
just
to.
a PR guy. And what do you want? Do you want someone that used to be?
I wouldn't want somebody, you know, in that high of position if you're gonna be involved with
Sir, I'm a lawyer.
dirty work.
I'm a director. And I'm a damn good person.
There's gonna be no further questions from me, but that is my input.
Would you like to give your name for the camera, sir, in the black cap
Oh,
and
I
black
know.
hoodie?
We have a clip back at Weasel News that
I would like
looked at
to.
before.
I'd like to stay anonymous at this time.
Okay, the Daily Algo will respect your request to stay anonymous.
You have a good day, Draco. I'm sorry. I mean, Dicko.
We will strike that from the record.
Appreciate that.
Draco, Dicko, or Darko?
Mr. Lewis, is this a friend of yours?
I thought I was your lawyer too. But it's not.
No, he's just a
you are
citizen
Oh,
of algorithm. We're just
This
here
is just
having
for
a
camera,
general conversation here.
Take him over here.
Mr. Citizen, would you like to say anything to the Daily Algo or the people watching at home?
Nah, I don't speak to the news.
Oh, okay. Nice outfit. You're very blinged out.
I like to stay more out of the limelight, you know.
It must be hard with all that jewelry around your neck and your fingers.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I came to support old candidate Lewis over here.
Oh, well, I
So
appreciate that, sir.
Gotta look good for the city, you know.
Appreciate
I don't
that,
usually
sir.
wear this. It's just tinfoil, really.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna wrap things up here. I need to get down to City Hall and start taking votes in case anybody comes to vote tonight. So I will see you all later. Good seeing you as always, Mr. Lewis.
So now may I ask how how that's gonna work? Just so my curiosity kind of settles down. So is it one vote per person in the community, or how?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for example, from my family, I can't
Okay.
vote.
I
My
got
cousins
you, I
can't
got you.
vote. Only one person.
Okay.